In the southeast of the galaxy, there stood the proud imperial nations of Sotria and Varia, their imperial families ruling over dozens of worlds and ordained by God to do so. From the burned crimson skies of Varia with red grass that spanned across the horizon to the shining ice world of Sotrea, these are two very different worlds with very similar views on life. Pre-revolution Sotrea is a very feudal nation with lords, princes, dukes, counts ruling the lands. All men of noble birth were stationed in high places in the military and all pledged allegiance to the empress. While Varia has had many internal squabbles for power, the idea of the monarchy being prevalent has never once wavered, while in Sotrea, the opposite has occurred. A man going by the Constant begins talking to the Sotrean people via hijacked broadcasts, preaching that the dark times are coming and that the Empress has lost her mandate from the gods, swaying many priests and commoners alike. Not helping matters on the home world of Sotrea. A heavy storm occurs in which dozens died. The people now had to evacuate into bunkers that were run by the military. An angry populace and ill-trained conscripts maintaining peace within the bunker during a time of panic, and this was a recipe for turmoil. The bunker massacre of 2140 occurs, in which imperial soldiers killed hundreds of people because they were protesting against the empire. No such orders were given to do so, it was simply panic. The soldiers were brought up on charges and later shot, showing a clear disconnect in the chain of command and issues with the military. In the wise words of Emperor Augustus III, there's a reason you separate military and the police. One fights the enemies of the state, the other serves and protects the people. When the military becomes both, then the enemies of the state tend to become the people. The massacre played right into the Constant's hands, with the revolution of 2141 occurring the very next year, where the palace is attacked. A princess is killed in this slaughter, and her adopted daughter, Yukizome Soyata, escaped. The prince is also kidnapped by the rebels. Eventually, the prince is brainwashed into accepting the Republicans and going against his mother. Empress Aurora is heartbroken and surrenders unconditionally to the Republic. The Republic seizes feudal lands and abolishes royal titles, but allowed the former rulers to maintain position in military for both simplicity and to gain the support of the military, or at least not guarantee a military coup. The Holy Varian Empire looked on in horror at the events in Sotrea. The two empires were the pillars that maintained peace and stability in the region for centuries, and now the rebels have won. Revolutions tend to be bloody things, and even after a monarch is deposed, tend to also carry on for years after. They seldom stay within borders and often export ideals to neighboring nations. Emperor Augustus III realized the threat, yet did not want to impose his will on another civilization. He knew that such a war would likely have no victor. Instead, he set up communication jammers to stop broadcasts coming from Sotrea to reach Varia. This began the Sotrean silence, where Varia and Sotrea did not make official contact again for another 20 years. A princess returns, a new Varian emperor rules. The civil war in Sotrea starts anew. Stay tuned for part 2.